Anshin is a Japanese word. An is peaceful, Shin is mind, so it's peaceful mind. Related to that subject, I talked about being at home and feel comfortable at home. That video, I think I put it in November, point the construct and how we may find the home where we are as it is at any moment. When our mind is caught up, busy, or so many things to think about, or facing the difficulties, we may lose the peaceful mind. Just yesterday, I had some incidents, as it happens in life, and I got the surprise, and the previous construct or expectation of what could happen may not be the case. So it's a typical fear, or our response may be fight or run away. I think that's programmed in our whole existence, the construct. That's the reaction as we see the nature, or the animals, for example, have that intuitive response to whatever the threat may pop up. So we are just a little advanced with additional DNA, but somewhere in our construct we have that. So to live a life in a meaningful way and a peaceful manner, we need to figure out so that we can find the home given the situation, if we can. And that's one of the major training in us, for us to figure out how to do that. There are lots of studies done in the neuroscience or psychology and the religious pursuit. Scriptures have talked about it, and what is the essence of it? When we are caught up in the storm and the situation is a little bit out of hand, it's not easy to find the home. But that's one of the major reasons, and as Daisetsu Suzuki, who is well known in his introduction of Zen to the West, he talks about the Anshin, the peaceful mind, is the major purpose of Zen or Buddhism. Wherever you are, you find home, and there's peace and happiness, or peaceful mind. So I talked about that subject previously, but I'm revisiting, just facing some difficulties, and I went through up and down in my search for the solution and came to the same conclusion. And what I found is that I felt I was off balance. Like you look at the depth of the ditch or something. If I fall in there, what could happen when the things are not resolved? So that again is the response of fight or fear, run away. But we need to, and we have a faculty to balance it out. That's the way we are basically training ourselves to prepare for that. Like I posted the video on the expect and unexpected, or facing death, or even I touched on my experience of a near-death experience, I call it. They call NDE, near-death experience, and how I feel. And at the time I felt peaceful, but just yesterday, the peaceful mind was lost for a while. So I'm revisiting this whole idea of Anshin, a peaceful mind. I may have mentioned about the happiness. According to Daisetsu, his definition of happiness is not the joy that we think about, but rather at peace as we are, no matter what condition we may fall into. And he says the passage to get there are lots of traps and the thorny road to go through. So that's the passage of life. Given this construct of enigma, whatever the part of the brain that react to those sudden changes, we have other faculties that we can utilize and connect to the root of our being and still find the peace and happiness. That's the bottom line of this whole pursuit. And if I think about, especially after going through some difficulties yesterday, but yet I find the peace, I wanted to capture that again and again so that we don't lose sight of how we get back to the main road instead of going into the side road, into the fear and upset feeling and stuff like that. At the end, the answer is simple if we use word. Accept everything as it is. Everything is impermanent. Unexpected things happen. So we need to have a mind that is secure and accept everything as it is. It may sound very counterintuitive, but to me, that's a major part of our living life and find happiness facing whatever the situation there is. So just talking like this may not carry any weight when you are in the middle of the despair or difficulties or no way out situation. But that's the reason why I posted many videos also talking about the calm and quiet mind. We expect the unexpected, find home as we are, feel comfortable as we are, melting into the nature. All of that is pointing the same so that we are feeling secure and peaceful and go through life's difficulties one step at a time. When I say have a calm and quiet mind in difficulties, or we have to accept whatever comes in our way, or expect unexpected, those are easy to say, but when you are in the middle of the fight or the fear or psychological ups and downs, that's when we need really get us back on track. As far as I can tell, there's no easy way. So we have to prepare, just like preparing for the sports event, exercising the skills in different setting and being able to learn how to cope with it. And you see how you may be improving. I mentioned this exercise of black dot. I call black dot exercise. Every day in my journal, which is one line each day, I have characteristics of how I spend my time. And one of the feature is a column where I put the black dot. And on the side is the explanation of why it's happening. So if the situation is bad, let's say, then I have the black dot, bigger one. And if the situation is mild, maybe a small dot, and everything seems to be running well, maybe I have a circle without any black inside. So going back a month or two, I can see the trend when certain things happen, when I get engaged in this company to work with, or when I heard this news of certain things I need to supply the information in a given time, all of a sudden, then I have little or bigger black dot there. So going back for a month or two, I can see it. And certain areas have more clusters and certain other areas have more peaceful time. And I can quickly reflect on what may have happened at the time, just in my image, without using the mind. So from that, I can detect certain tendency and how I cope with it. That gave me a strength that over time I have been figuring out the way, given the situation. I also posted the video on the PDCA, Plan, Do, Check, Act, and the life profile to see where we are on the chart in terms of what situation at work, hobby, relationship, health, finance, and be truthful to ourselves, myself. Am I sincere and truthful in the way I face every day? So these are cumulative effect that I think we are, in a way, reprogramming. I may not notice it, but it's reinforcing certain principle, the way of how to solve the problem. In essence, all of my video series are related to that. Given the setting, I look at this way and explain that way for myself. And if there's someone watching or listening, you may get the sense of it. And the other instance is in a different setting or looking at the situation from a different angle. So each of those is kind of like a programming the wisdom that I gain in each cases. Sometimes it's not easy, sometimes easy. If you master the skill, it's not as difficult. So, but the nature of the situation is changing as much as I am changing. So the whole process of learning and gaining the skill to be the master of our destiny and find a peaceful mind. Find a home that we can stay calm and quiet and peaceful. And be able to look up the sky or listen to the bird or talk with others and share this sense and orientation so that I can personally develop the skill and move on as much as I can possibly share with others who may appreciate the time to share and are sure that we are moving forward. I think that's a very important passage and will to go through to overcome the hurdles of life and at the same time appreciate the fact that we can gain skills, overcome hurdles, because the life, to me, by definition, throw you into different difficulties, and for us to come out, looking at the nature, the tree is growing, but they have to go through the summertime without water, or the strong wind, or too much water. Whatever the situation is, they are being resilient, figure out how to live their life. And we are the same, living being. Therefore, if we can accumulate, share the experiences, and find the way, the wisdom to figure out what to be done, and have the sense of sharing of the compassionate sense that we can develop among us. I think the passage that we are moving forward in life, we find the meaning in it and the joy of living life and finding a peace of mind as we go on. Thank you.